Hello again, and thanks for joining me on part 4 of building a chat out with Sockets.io and jQuery. And in part 4, I'm going to start with a little more Git. I left off, I didn't do something I said I was going to do. And then we're going to go we're going to earn our jQuery badge, and we're going to make an event handler. So what did I forget in Git? Well, if you remember, I said it's like a tree, and you branch out, and then when you're happy with that branch, you sort of branch it back in. Well, we were happy with our branch. Remember, we had a branch called layout. We were happy with it, but we didn't bring it back into our master branch. So if I hit, I'm going to hit Atom to open it up. I could just show you the commands, but I want to show you. Oh, by the way, this magically appeared. It was a GitHub thing, and I don't know if you noticed last time, but there was a folder here called .git. And it's not there anymore. It's still there. It's just they're not showing it because it started with a dot. And anything that starts with a dot, it shouldn't be showing here. But I think because we started it while this was already open, it already showed it or something. I was kind of surprised it was there. But now I'm kind of surprised it's gone. Back to what I was saying. So here we were. We put all of this in. These things select. We put in the message wrapper border. Let's just run it, and we'll see what. This is where we left off. But if we switch, if I say git checkout master, okay, and then I go back over here and I refresh it. Well, we're back to where we were then before we did our last episode. So the trick is while I'm in master, I want to merge layout into master. So you switch to master. Okay, check, I've done that. And I'm going to say git merge. And it knows it means merge this into me. I'm not merging it somewhere else. Layout. So I'm merging the layout branch into the master branch. By the way, I wouldn't do this until I was happy with the layout branch. Don't merge in a branch you're not happy with. I'm happy with the layout branch though, so I'm going to merge it. Return. Okay. So now a bunch of stuff just changed here. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to hit refresh. And now the master branch has everything from the layout branch. So I could go back to the layout branch because we're going to have to do some tweaks like get rid of these borders, and I love my rounded edges. But I don't have to go on the same layout branch. I can make a whole new branch. I used to, when I first learned how to use Git, think, oh, I have to go back to that branch. But you can, but then it's not up to date because if I go back to it after I merge a ton of other branches into it, then I go to that branch and I have to make it up to date. It's easier just to make a whole new branch. So I'm probably never going to that layout branch again. I could even delete the layout branch. But I am going to start a new branch because you never want to do any work on master. Master is for your best version. So I'm going to say git checkout -b, checkout space -b, and I want to make a new branch, and this is going to be an event handler for submit. So the new message event there. New send message. So this is a pretty long name. This is not uncommon in the real world, assuming I work in the real world. We give our branches descriptive names because you don't want to not know what branch you're on and not know what your branch does. So I'm even going to put handler there. Now I'll just put event. Okay, and when I check that out and create, so I just created it. Here I am. I'm there. Okay. If I hit get status, well, it shouldn't say anything. Oh yeah, this README that showed up. I told you this file just showed up. Well, I don't know. I didn't do it. But it's very common for Git if you do it from GitHub, it'll say, "Would you like to include a README file?" Well, maybe the new hotness is they just make you do it. So anyway, let's look at let's look at this. I can type something in here now. And then I hit return. And what I want it to do is I want it to rewrite it right here, in this part. Except for the messages I send, I want coming from this side. The messages I receive, I want coming from this side. And also, I don't want them at the top. I want this one to appear at the bottom. And then if I put another one, it scoots up and this one comes in below it, and then it scoots up and below it. So part of that, this is jQuery to make that happen, but all that part where I control where it goes, that's just CSS. And well, I'll get to this when I get to it, but there's a cool thing that's gonna help us with our CSS. It's just CSS, but this is there we go. Some little Flexbox tips. If you ever want to, CSStricks.com, a guide to Flexbox. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to the jQuery. So where are we? App.js. I was going to say we haven't done anything, but looks like we have. Document.ready. I think I need to go like this. Document.ready. Okay. Some of you might be saying, what the heck am I doing? Let me just log ready. Oops, what's with that? What's with that? What am I doing? Can't type. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. If I hit Command Option I, this shows up. There's the elements. This is what we used this thing last time, but we want to be in the console. When we're doing our jQuery, we're gonna want to talk to ourselves here. I'm gonna send messages. So when I refresh it, it says ready. Okay. So what is this document.ready thing? Well, back to here. You don't want it to run this jQuery generally, or this JavaScript, until it does all of its rendering here. We have very simple rendering, so it's not going to get blinky. But sometimes, like if it's loading stuff, you don't want it to start doing anything with the JavaScript until you're ready. So when I said document.ready, I basically told it to hold off. Okay. So I don't really need to say that anymore. And inside of this document.ready is where I'm going to have most of my commands. So if you're familiar with jQuery, this is you wrap an element in new message. Click. Why am I not knowing what to do? Or is it on click? New message. This right here is the class right from my HTML. This is my new message class. When I there it is. When there is a click event, and by the way, if you're not familiar with this fat arrow and this fat arrow, this is just the new JavaScript. This is JavaScript at 2015, or I know it's 2000. Today's December 31st, 2017, but it's the new JavaScript that's 2 years old, I guess. I didn't start using this until, I don't know, 6 months ago. But basically, you never use the word function anymore. So I'm grabbing this element from the HTML, and that's how I do it. I put the dot there because it's a class. Here's the name of the class. It's just a string that's naming a class, and then I wrap it in use parentheses and a $sign in front. Just like this does. This says take the document. This says take this thing, and when there's a click event, so really it's saying, I'm going to do a little cut and paste. I'm going to Command X to cut it. when the click happens, do what's in here. So I'm going to hit Command Z to put that back. And there's a click event. Oh. No. That's what I'm on key down. I was like, that's it. I was like, is it a click event that I want? No. It's a key down event. Because there's all kinds of events. There's click events, there's key up down events, and there's, I think I want the key up event now that I just said it. We'll try it both ways. There's a key down. If I press something down, then I pick it back up, that's a whole other event. That's not just, that's two events. There's a click event. There's a hover event. There's a double click event. On the key up, we're gonna evaluate that event. So I'm gonna say log event. So when I click this, I gotta refresh it. Keyup is not a function. That's awesome. Is it this? Okay. I press down, up. Okay. Notice when I down, it didn't do it. It wasn't until I pressed up. Okay. And the event is an object. There is an event object, and I wanted to go down here to this which. I really wish I could click on it and open it. But I'm saying which key did I hit? So I'm going to, instead of saying, I'm going to log event.which. Refresh. Dink. And it says you clicked key 68. Well, here I'm going to click the return key. And return key is 13. And that's because when I type a message, I'm just looking for 13. So, oh, because when it's 13, that's when I want to send it from here to here. All right, so let's do that. Back to here. If event.which equals 13, then I want to, then I'll say let message equal this thing. Dot val. Okay. So I just made a variable and I gave it the value of this, and I could console log that, but we're already at 13 minutes, so I'm not gonna. And then I'm going to say I'm going to append it to the messages wrapper. Command C, because I don't want to do any typos. Go back to my app.js. $, shoot. Command messages wrapper dot append. And what do I want to append? Right now I'm just going to say the message. Okay. Is that going to work? I'm not even sure. So I guess I am going to test this now. Because we don't want to append the message. We want to actually append an element. A new message, .new message is not a function. Ooh. That bothers me. Well, not nearly as much. I see I forgot to make it jQuery. Okay. Well, it didn't give me an error message, but it definitely didn't put it up here. That's because I don't think you don't append messages, you append elements. And also because I didn't put a dot there. Let's see if it'll because it's a string. I think it's going to append it. Yeah, it did. And you might say, oh, great, we're done. Well, we're not. We're gonna append because it's looking at HTML, and even though that string, it just interprets it as basically a message. We want to we're going to create an HTML element. Let's call it element, and it equals, so we're going to start a string. In fact, I'm going to use this backtick. I'm hitting shift, and it's the right under the escape key, sharing the tilde key. Yeah, sharing that key. Oh, I don't want to hit shift. It's that message, because this is something that's used for concatenation, and I'm not sure if I'm going to need it here or not, but it doesn't matter. So this just acts like this or this, you know. I'm using the backticks. It's the new hotness in the new JavaScript. It's not that new anymore. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create an element. It's going to be a div, and this div is going to have a class. And I can make the class message, but we're going to have two different kinds of messages. This is one that I'm sending, but that's going to behave differently than the ones I receive. They're going to be, for one example, they're on coming out of the different sides of the screen. So this is a sent message, and inside of this, I'm going to have another thing. I'm going to have a p tag, and if I need a class in this p tag, I can't think what it is. But in here, and this is where see this syntax? See how it turned red for me? It knows I'm going to put a variable in here. What this is equal to me, I could have used an apostrophe, you know, one of these, and made this and said plus this, and then have these plus signs. But this is, I just plug this variable right into this string. So now, instead of appending the message, Command C, Command V, Command S, I append that, enter, and it looks pretty much the same. So how are we going to get it over here? Well, I gave it a class, send message, Command C. Let's do some CSS to that. Dot Command V. Now we're just going to give it a width of, I want to give it a width of not 100%. I don't want to go all the way across. Remember, we're going to have it coming out of the right side, and we're going to do that with just simply with text align and right. Later, we're going to add a picture in front of this, so we might have to change some of this around, but for right now, this is going to work. And since we have this width of 90, the text, if I put a border on it, you'd see that it goes from 90, but it starts at the left. At the end of that div, I'll just do it. I'm going to say margin left is 10%. And I say I'll just do it. I could put a border in here too. Command S. Let's take a look at it. Okay. Howdy. Okay. See, it's on the right side of this red box, and this red box has some margin here. So this is what's pushing it to this. So if I could put stuff in here all day, well, here's another problem. This howdy didn't disappear. We can fix that. And me erasing wasn't how I fixed it. Okay. So, by the way, I had to put these, if I just put one long string without these in there, it would go off. It does the line break where on the space key. So it's coming out of the right. I didn't want it coming all the way over here, because if you have a long text and it goes all the way across, you won't be able to see really which side it's starting on. So this is going to be clearly that it's starting from this side. When I'm sent a text, it's clearly going to start from this side. The next problem is we got to get it down here. Why is this up here? And how do we do that? That's where this comes in. One of the things that a flex container will do is well, here they have a little picture to go along with it. They can start here, go this way, or start here, go this way. Start up, go down, or start down, go up. We want to use this flex direction. Command C. Actually, okay. Got an extra character in there. Command C. And we want to use the column reverse. So, and we want to use that on the parent element. I haven't done that in a while. The parent element on this one is the messages wrapper, I believe. And it's going to be column reverse. All right, let's check it out. We got to refresh it. That so didn't work. Did I put it on the right element? Messages wrapper. Let's look at it in there. There's the new message. There's the messages wrapper. This right here. You, Command C. You're who's getting this. In my app.js, Command V. In my main.css, messages wrapper. So cool. So, oh, is this a flexbox? And because this has to be declared a flex container. Whew. So we can do that anyway. We can do it right here. I'll just do it right here because we're here. Or I could have made it flexer like I did yesterday. Or okay, it was yesterday, but in episode 2, I think. Display flex. Okay. Crisis averted, I think. There we go. Uh-oh. Okay, 2 problems. The first one, when you send a message, you want it to erase right here. So let's do that right away. That's going to be first. Oh, making up for lost time. How we're going to do that is, after we append this thing, then we are just going to, I'm going to take this line right here. And on this line, because of the syntax, it knew I was assigning the value of this to a message. But if I just go like this and I put the value in there, then it knows that I'm assigning this the value, and I'm going to assign it some empty quotations, or empty apostrophes, single quotes. And now, that was, by the way, looking at the code. When it's 13, that means when I hit the enter, do all this stuff, and then erase that. So let's test that. Dink, dink, enter, dink, drink, enter, drink, drink. They're entering. But notice, if I hit an A, it goes to the top. It should be coming in from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. It should be going, you know, they're going on the wrong side. 3 should be the thing on the bottom. And what happens when I go off the top? I'm happy with when I go off the top, it leaves. Maybe I want to have a scroll bar on this that brings it back, but for first things first, let's get the things popping in the bottom, and that's not as big of a deal as you think. If you prepend something versus append it, basically you put it in first versus last. We were sticking things in on the after the last thing. This thing says to put it at the first thing and everything else after it. When I say things, I mean elements. And I'm going to show that to you with it when we inspect it. A, enter. So look at 1, 2, 3. I'm going to inspect this. There's the HTML we wrote, and then there's the HTML that's here. Look at all these things. So when I prepend it, it puts it in right here. When I append it, it puts it in at the end of this list. So it's just understanding the difference between prepend and append. It's been 23 minutes and 45 seconds that I've been doing this video. Darn it. So I think what I should do is commit this and then start at episode 5. In episode 5, we got to figure out what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of these borders. We're going to make this an overflow so we can scroll up to see what our earlier messages were. And over here, I want to make a function out of all of this. So we're going to make a function out of all of this, and all that's going to be between here and here is a function that calls this. So that's going to be actually outside of our document.ready. All right. So git add dot. That means that gets, and I don't have to do git status, but I'm going to show you that I made this README file appeared by itself. App.js, main.css, git commit -m quotes worked on posting a message, a sent message. Not complete. Oh. No complete. Not complete. And then I hit enter. 3 files changed. We're good. I'm not going to merge this though because I'm not happy with this feature. When I'm happy with this feature, then I'm going to merge it into the master branch. Alrighty. I think I have done everything I said I was going to. It's been almost 26 minutes. So stopping this. Thank you.